This is my favorite fucking possession movie. Let's go. So Evil Dead starts off with this girl who's tied to a post, and she finds that her father is fucking preparing to light her on fire. And when her begging and pleading for him to stop won't get through to him, she turns into this. This is what the Evil Dead fans call a deadite. But her father says that he loves her and he fucking shoots her, and we get the opening credits. And now we meet our main crew. So we have Eric, we have Olivia, we have Dave, and we have David's girlfriend Natalie. And we learn that they are all up at this old cabin in the woods because they're going to help David's sister Mia as she goes through a heroin withdrawal. They also have their dog Grandpa with them. Now, as they're all settling into the cabin, Olivia actually tells David that they have tried to do this before. And Eric tells David that Mia lasted 8 hours before relapsing, then overdosing, which led to her legally dying and then being brought back to life. Later that day, we see Grandpa sniffing and scratching at this rug, and when they pull the rug back, they see that there's a trap door there. And of course, because it's a horror movie, they go down to this creepy-ass cellar, where they find this book. And this book is known as the Necronomicon, aka the Book of the Dead. By the way, when they find this, the book is wrapped in wires and plastic, which to me obviously meant don't fucking open this. A little while later, we see Mia in front of the cabin just walking around in the rain, and she's clearly fucking going through it, you guys. Meanwhile, back in the cabin, we see Eric looking at this book. And Eric, being the dumbest fucking person in horror history or even cinema history, opens this fucking book. There's even a message in the book that says, like, don't read it in big scratchy letters, but he fucking ignores that. And of course, he reads from the book. And we see this crazy shaky POV rush through the woods and slam into poor Mia. And when Mia looks up, she sees this fucking thing looking at her. So Mia, obviously in active withdrawal and fucking terrified of this thing, steals a car and gets the fuck out of it. But while she's driving, she almost hits this thing, which fucking makes Mia swerve, and the car goes off the road and crashes into a fucking swamp. And after Mia crawls out of the car, she sees this fucking thing yet again. Now, I'm not going to go into detail on how this happens, but just know that this thing uses a fucking vine to possess Mia. Soon after this happens, Natalie and David find Mia and bring her back inside. A little while later, David goes outside and he sees some blood on the ground. And there's like this tunnel in the dirt that leads up to a hole in the shed. And David then pulls poor Grandpa's dead body out of the hole. Because after Mia had had that encounter in the woods, Mia, not being herself, had killed Grandpa. So obviously David is fucking pissed and he runs into the cabin to find Mia, who is in the shower with her skin steaming and bubbling because she turned the hot water all the way up. So David throws Mia in the car to rush her to the hospital, but then finds out that he can't because the roads have been flooded. When they get back to the cabin, the group starts to kind of like argue over what to do with Mia at this point. And Mia in question then walks into the room holding a shotgun, which she continues to fucking shoot David with. And then Mia turns into this fucking thing and tells the group, you're all going to die tonight. Olivia and Mia start to fight, and Mia barfs up like this red, disgusting bile all over Olivia's face. But Olivia is ultimately able to kick Mia into that cellar and they slam the door. Olivia goes into the bathroom to kind of clean all this shit off herself, and she looks into the mirror and she sees herself as a fucking deadite. Eric then goes into the bathroom to check on Olivia, and he finds her like this. Demon Olivia grabs the surgical needle and starts to attack Eric with it. But lucky for Eric, he wears glasses, so those are protecting his eye. And Eric has to end up beating Demon Olivia to death with a piece of porcelain. We then get this really spine-tingling moment where Eric actually pulls a piece of needle out from underneath his eye. It's, oh my god. David and Natalie find Eric, so David starts to patch Eric up and tells Natalie to go get water from the kitchen. Eric also now reveals that he had read from the Necronomicon. Meanwhile, Natalie is going through the living room when she hears real Mia crying from the cellar. By the way, you guys, the Deadites can actually switch back and forth. And Natalie, taking pity on Mia, goes down to the cellar. However, Mia turns around, now back to demonic Mia, and attacks Natalie. And during this attack, she bites Natalie's hand. And Natalie, obviously afraid, grabs a box cutter as a weapon. And you guys, this is a very, very gross scene because Demon Mia grabs the box cutter, opens it all the way, and fucking licks it down the middle, which fucking splits her tongue in half. Now, I guess David had heard Natalie screaming for help because he opens the door and yanks her out of there. and they close the cellar door and they fucking lock it as they should. Meanwhile, Eric's trying to burn the book, but obviously it's not going to be that easy. And Eric tells David that an evil entity has been released and it has attached itself to Mia's soul. And this thing will claim 5 souls, and once it does, this thing called the Abomination will arrive. Meanwhile, the place where Mia had bit Natalie on her hand has started to become possessed, and it is traveling up her arm. So Natalie, in an effort to stop this, grabs the electric knife that they have and she fucking cuts her fucking arm off. But it's too late because now Natalie's possessed, and that's 3 souls claimed. And Demon Natalie proceeds to attack David and Eric with a fucking nail gun. A fight between all 3 of them ensue, and during this Natalie drops nails and she goes at David and starts beating his ass with a crowbar when she's hit with nails from behind, courtesy of Eric. So Natalie now goes over to Eric and starts beating him with the crowbar, but David manages to grab the rifle they have and shoot Natalie. David drags Eric outside, who is literally fucking dying from being shot with nails, and Eric literally dies in David's arms. David now decides that he's got no other option but to burn down the whole cabin with Mia inside. So he pours gasoline all over the floor, but before he can drop a lighter on it, he hears Mia singing from the basement. And Mia is singing a song that their mom used to sing to them when they were kids. And obviously, because David hears this, he gets super emotional and he can't fucking drop the lighter. He can't do it. So instead, David tries something else and he goes outside and starts digging this hole. And I still have no idea how he fucking does this, but he grabs a bunch of shit and makes a homemade defibrillator. And then he goes down to the cellar to look for Mia. Now, there's a really, really tense moment where David can't find Mia down there, but he knows that she's down. And sure enough, she attacks him and tries to drown him in this little pool in the back. And poor David actually starts to fucking die. Until that is, something yanks Mia off him. And David surfaces to see that it's fucking Eric, who's still somehow fucking alive. I have no idea how this guy is still fucking living, you guys. I really don't. And he has managed to knock Mia unconscious. However, while they were fighting, Mia has managed to stab Eric in the side with a box cutter. And now Eric actually died. R.I.P. my guy. David takes Mia outside to that hole that he had dug earlier and he starts to bury her alive. Meanwhile, Demon Mia transforms into regular Mia and she begs and pleads for David to stop. But David obviously isn't buying it and he buries Mia alive. David immediately digs Mia back up again and now she's regular Mia. The demon is gone. However, regular Mia is sadly out. David desperately tries to bring Mia back with that defibrillator he had made, but that thing is just not fucking working. And eventually David has no other option but to walk away. However, he then hears Mia calling for him. And she's alive. She's back. No more demon. David tells Mia to wait outside while he goes back into the cabin to get the key so they can get the fuck out of it. But while David's in the cabin, he's attacked by fucking demon Eric. The door slams shut, Mia's trying to get in, but she can't. David and Eric start to fight, and during this fight, David is able to grab that shotgun and he shoots a can of gasoline, which makes the house explode. Outside starts to rain fucking blood, and this fucking thing crawls out of the ground and goes for Mia. And this is the abomination. Mia manages to run to the shed as she grabs a chainsaw, and she hides behind the car as she's trying to get it started. However, the Deadite takes its strength and tips the car over, trapping Mia's fucking hand. And now Mia has dropped the chainsaw and she can't fucking reach it. And this thing is slowly coming towards her. Mind you, this whole time it's fucking pouring blood from the sky. But at this point, Mia has had fucking enough. And she straight up pulls her own fucking hand off so she can get to this chainsaw. The Deadite looks at her and says, "I will feast on your soul." And Mia says my favorite line in horror, and she says, "Feast on this motherfucker," and she fucking chainsaws this thing down the middle and kills it. The blood rain stops and Mia walks off as we see the sun rise in the distance. And then the credits roll. And we get this cool little clip where we see the silhouette of a man, and he looks into the camera and he says, "Groovy." And it's Bruce fucking Campbell. It's fucking Ash from the original one. And Evil Dead fans take this to be a stamp of approval from Bruce Campbell. Don't forget to like and comment. What movie should I do next?